Welcome to the listeners to the NCR podcast.
Singing, and I'm
What is that?
Elf, bro.
No, I know the song. I mean the thing on your head.
Oh, I don't know. It's a ribbon.
Unlike you, I've seen all the classic Christmas movies. Still can't believe you haven't seen Christmas Vacation.
I'll watch it Friday.
Has Sarah seen it?
No.
What?
Sarah hasn't seen movies, man.
Every time she puts a snap up, she's watching a Christmas movie.
Yeah, she's seen the same, 4 movies in her entire life.
6,000 times. That makes sense. I feel like this table's got a lot going on right now, but
Yeah, I'll shut my computer. Just trying to finalize the new schedule, you know?
the new I see.
The new
Schedule.
NCR Shedge.
Shedge.
Yeah.
With all the half-hour interval classes.
Yeah.
New classes.
And new coaches.
New coaches.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
The interns. Kaylee and Renee?
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
I managed to file you down to 9 classes.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
So what's new, guys?
Do you guys miss Reza?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, I feel like he...
Never really worked out with me anyway.
No. And...
No. Kaylee probably misses Reza the most.
That's right.
And Grid.
Yeah. But I'm going to blame him for
Not Gurkhan.
not
Gurkhan
having a
likes working out
vlog
with
for
me.
2 weeks. What?
I said not Gurkhan because he likes working out with me.
That was really funny.
was so
Blatantly
funny.
picked you over him in every aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Reza's never going to let that down.
No, he literally says it to Girk every time he sees him now.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Poor guy.
We're going to be due for another one of those, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
I don't know. I literally, I picked him super randomly. And then I was really nervous because it started off, and, no offense to him, but it was, really boring. And then... But then I got 1 or 2 funny things out of it, and I was like, okay, I think I can cut this well. And then it ended up
Kept
being
going.
hilarious because it
Great.
just turned into a roast of Rez, which was
Yeah.
awesome. Super
But also the
unintentionally.
one where he says he's unemployed. That was hilarious.
That was yeah, that was really good.
Is he unemployed?
don't
Like,
tell
what does
anyone.
he do?
I think he went to school for mechanical engineering and he just hasn't found a job yet. So he's like,
That's
"Coming in."
awesome.
Find a job with an engineering firm, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
So
I don't
we're
know
going
how
to see
it works.
Girk roll in here in about an hour.
That's
If you're listening and you're a member at NCR or somewhere in Ottawa and you want to give that poor little schmuck a job,
call us.
call us.
No.
Yeah. I've heard it's pretty hard for engineers right now. I have a lot of engineering
Really?
grad friends that are working random jobs.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Never heard.
Automated, I don't know. Are all the engineering jobs automated?
I don't think so. I think maybe it's a generational thing. The older people haven't retired in that field yet. I don't know. But yeah, they're all having trouble, and that's one of those ones where you expect to get a job right out of
Yeah,
school
seriously.
usually, right?
Still need to build shit.
Mm-hmm.
Design stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what kind of engineering too.
Yeah. I don't know. I think mainly mechanical from the people I know, but
He should work for Rogue and design new equipment.
I can probably
that's-
guarantee you they get so many job applications.
We need to get
just
we
from
need
people
to-
who think it's cool.
We
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
we should hire him just to do research and development.
For
Black
what?
leather gloves.
Yeah.
To
Put some liquid
come
paper
up
on a
with-
B.
so we can patent a unique piece of equipment and sell it to Rogue.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to do that.
Really, eh?
Well, there's a lot of little gimmicks out there. And once you get on the Rogue website, then you're
good
pretty
to
much
go.
set.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like Rogue just keeps on buying out people.
Yeah.
Like
every
little companies like Gorilla
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff?
No,
Gorilla.
I don't think so. I don't think they need to.
But little companies that have specific patents on little pieces
Oh,
of
like a
equipment.
cool piece of...
Let me think of an example. You could probably think of one.
Like the pig and stuff like that, or did they
No,
design that from
designed
scratch?
that. But it's weird. I was literally
It's-
just talking about it the other day with someone. There's a piece of equipment there's a piece of equipment, and I forget what it. Oh, it's those collars. Those really, really good collars.
Oh yeah.
Those collars were a patent from a different company, and they only sold those collars. And
Right.
Bro just bought them.
Is that also Oso?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's possible.
That's an example, though. You know,
That makes sense.
just little things like that
Uh-huh.
that just make it so much better.
Yeah, you just
Obviously,
grow it.
They want all the pie.
Have you guys listened to a new podcast intro yet?
No.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's sick.
I love
okay,
it.
Cool.
What was the
Yeah.
last podcast?
It was the CBD intermittent fasting.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's the first one I put the new intro on.
Mm. It's kind of
It's like a
it-
jingle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind, one of the first videos he edited. It's like a compilation of people just doing
Mm-hmm. It's like
Like a nice little
lifting in
edit?
the gym.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a
Just
bunch of different edits that I've done. I like piece a bunch of them together
Yeah.
and then put a little jingle over it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it flows.
You're featured in it.
I'll go check it out.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about
How do you word it? How do you describe
how do you word it? I think I just have one word to word it.
Mhm.
Decreasing friction.
Decreasing
my
decreasing
phrase.
friction to increase traction inside your gym.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think we're going to talk about barriers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barriers to entry.
Barriers to entry, either for an affiliate owner or just barriers to entry for anybody who just like kind of wants to join a CrossFit gym.
And we're not speaking financially. It's outside of that, right? You're not talking
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah. I mean, the two can work together once we start talking about more like the affiliate side,
Mhm.
because some decisions probably are driven by the financial factor. But yeah, it's just like barriers to entry for someone who goes and does their level 1, like
Mhm.
versus someone who wants to just get going into CrossFit.
Right.
And like, what do they do? What should they do?
So like historically, from when CrossFit started and what you guys teach at the level 1, because that's
Mhm.
probably the most historically quote unquote correct version of it. What do you guys like? What's the recommendation you guys give to people, affiliate owners, etc.? Just general, like not what we do, not what anyone else is doing. What do you guys? What do you guys give? What do you say? How should someone start CrossFit?
Like as an affiliate to open up a gym?
From the
No, no, no.
perspective of a gym owner or
No,
the
like,
person
as
who wants to
the
take
gym owner, like
participate.
if you have someone come up to you, they're like, I want to start CrossFit.
Mhm.
What do you guys recommend the gym owner does from there?
Oh,
Oh, man.
I don't really recommend anything. I think the
That's a complicated question.
yeah. What I want to talk about more is like, is there a barrier? Like for
Yeah.
someone, the only thing standing between someone opening up a gym and not opening up a gym are getting their level 1.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
Like all you need to open up a CrossFit gym is your level 1. Obviously, there's the startup costs and all that stuff after and the equipment, but it's just your level 1. Like
Mhm.
it's that easy.
Mhm.
So that's why like we were thinking about this the other day. Like if it's that easy for someone to go and open up a gym, like that's the business model of CrossFit, right?
Mhm.
It's no barrier to entry.
Mhm.
Literally just
That's more what I was asking.
so just get your level 1, pass your test,
Mhm.
pay your affiliate fee, and then you're set. And then we're making the contrast or the comparison between someone who just wants to open up or someone who wants to just start CrossFit. And then some gyms out there are will have all these set barriers, like you have to do a consultation, you have to do these intro classes before you join, like all that stuff. And it's just like it's I feel like it's backwards, right? It doesn't go hand in hand with what the model of CrossFit is, which is zero to barrier to entry.
Yeah. Well, let's pick that apart a little bit. So like, in order to open a CrossFit gym, like you said, you get your level 1 and you can just open up a CrossFit gym right after that. That's the only thing, right? So then you're talking about that affiliate owner then deciding on how they're going to bring in.
Let's just
new
quickly
people.
also say that even though it is a low barrier, it's still the biggest barrier compared to any other gym in the entire world.
Fitness,
in
yeah.
fitness. Which
True.
is crazy to think about.
Because you don't need anything to open up a regular person gym.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just tomorrow, anyone, Joe Schmo off the street,
Yeah.
with
And
no
can
cert
call it whatever
just
they
do a
want. They
gym.
can just,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fitness or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
what we see
Mm-hmm.
pretty much everywhere.
So it's
right?
relatively a larger barrier, but still low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then so, I mean, I would probably position that like a majority percentage of gyms do what you stated, which is what they have like an on ramp or whatever you would call it that bridges people in off the street.
A lot of gyms do.
Yeah. What does that usually look like though, from what you guys have seen in your experience? What is like the most common variation? Is it like personal training? Is it like a class?
I don't know,
Is it?
because I've never done an on ramp, but I think it varies a lot. I think I've seen some gyms that do one-on-one sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Like we even have that option at our gym that no one really, like, it's not a super common thing that people buy, but we have the option that someone can do 3 one-on-one on-ramp classes with a coach. And I think a lot of other gyms have that, right, PT?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, they vary in length. Sometimes they're, a week and you have to do it like straight. But everyone's free to design their own on-ramp course, right? So some will do like a group session. It'll be, okay, we need 10 people to sign up for this group class, and everyone is a beginner and it's their first time doing CrossFit, and we're going to run it through every month, and you can only sign up and start at the first of the month,
Right.
And you'd like cycle,
And it's like a 4-week class or something
this.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another design. Yeah, I think there's a whole bunch of different ways that people do it.
Okay.
Yeah, like
So-
I've heard of exactly that, like like a 6-week on ramp, or they have to. Some gym owners will wait until there's a certain amount of people who are actually interested in the on ramp, and then they'll launch it.
That's an interesting one. Why do you think they're doing that for? Like, why are they doing that? Why are they
Probably
waiting?
don't want to pay a coach to X amount of dollars to.
That's something we can
coach only a
dovetail
couple
back to.
people.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But so what then is the inherent problems that you see with that? Because like from, maybe like a coach's perspective, it's like, okay, sweet, I get all these new people together and I get to teach them all the air squat, make sure it's perfect, then move on to the deadlift, make sure it's perfect, versus having to try to coordinate them. And like what do you guys see as the issues to that?
There's a bunch of problems.
Yeah, let's go through them.
The first one is that you're deterring people from trying it the day they walk into your gym because they can't start it now. If someone, like, often people walk in because they're excited about the product, the service, or they see like the sign, they're like, oh my God, I want to try CrossFit today or tomorrow. Like, I'll get my gym stuff. Let's do it. And you're like, that's awesome, but sorry, like, you're gonna have to wait a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then the excitement kind of wears off and they might never come back. So that's one thing that's wrong.
Just to piggyback off that is what we'll see and what we'll talk about with people is that the hardest thing for most people to do is literally just show up for the first time.
Yeah.
So we'll have people come in and they're like kind of looking around, and you can see it right away. They're brand new. They're a little intimidated. They have no idea what this is. And for them just to walk through the door was probably a process. They probably were at home, saw something, and like, I should go check it out. I'll go tomorrow. They don't go tomorrow. And then one day they're like, man, they really muster up the courage to come in.
Yeah.
And then that person, how easy would it be to lose them if you told them, okay, you have to come back next week because we don't have spots in our intro program, or our intro classes are only at this hour. Like, that person is going to have to muster up the courage again. And what are you telling them?
Yeah.
You're telling them that you're not ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're not ready to change your life. You're not ready. We have to get you to a certain stage before you can actually get the benefit of the program.
When really, they just did the hardest part themselves.
When the hardest part was walking in. So like, Well, just get him through the door and then get him started.
Yeah, because that's like one of the most annoying things I find to hear as a coach is like, last night I was driving Rhea and one of her work friends to something, and her work friend was like, oh yeah, I've started going to this gym. Like, I want to try CrossFit, but like, I'm going to learn how to lift weights first. And like, I want to practice lifting weights. And I literally turn around and look at her. I'm like, that's what it's for. That's what we do. But like, it's things like that probably create that mindset of like, okay, I need to be at a certain level before I can do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's in a complete juxtaposition to what CrossFit is, and it's like trying to get someone 400 pounds who's really sick to be healthy, and it's like that person has to lose 300 pounds before they're ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Exactly.
And it's not like kind of the foundation of what the program is.
So that's one thing, is like taking advantage of the fact that they might have gone through a lot just to walk in the door, and like empathizing with that, and sort of keeping the ball rolling instead of stopping it on the spot, and it's being like,
do you think, let's just stay with this one for a sec, do you think that a lot of gym owners and affiliates might put that barrier to place because they're not like, do you think maybe they're forgetting about what the actual purpose of what we're doing is, and that's to change people's lives? Maybe they're looking at it as like, this isn't super effective for my business. I can make more money from this person if I make them do an intro. It's going to make my business smoother if I don't have new people in my classes. Like, do you think that's where why are they doing it? Why are people putting in place these intro programs?
I'd like to think that most people aren't doing the intro for the money. I'd like to think that, like, they definitely value it per hour a little higher on the for the most part, but because I think there's less people that take part in it, like that participate, and obviously they have to pay the coaches and the administration, all that stuff. Like it's a lot of work to get that program rolling, so it usually does cost a little more. But I think it's more along the lines of they're not prepared to integrate that person into their class right away.
Yeah. What does that look like? What do you mean by integrate?
Scale, like, be a good coach and scale appropriately. Like, take someone off the street who wants to try CrossFit and throw them into your class and have them experience the best hour of their day working out alongside a games athlete. Like, that's what the perfect scenario looks like.
Yeah. I think that just to add on to that, it's like the whole point of the intro program is to create a longtime member. So like the point of the intro program is not to create a barrier, right? Like, affiliate owners aren't doing it to make it hard on themselves, right? Like, we understand that.
Yeah.
We understand that it's to make sure that the person who walks through your door, who's off the street, has a great first impression and first experience of, you know, lower intensity, more maybe a little bit more focus on technique, no weights, just a smooth transition in. That's the whole point of the intro program. It's to make sure that they do create lifetime members. I just believe, and we believe, that you don't need a separate program for that.
Right.
And if your coaches are trained properly, and if you run an effective hour and it's not absolute mayhem and it's programmed well, that, you know, leads from one part to another and it kind of flows well, then you can take, like Pete said, anybody off the street, put them in your class, and they will have that good first experience.
Well, and it's interesting because, like, I mean, I can speak to that from, like, super firsthand experience. And, like, when I came here, like I've said to you guys many times, like, I've never had coached brand new people in a group class before. And that was super intimidating to me. And I thought, you know, whatever. But it was funny because, like, guaranteed in the first 2 months I was here, I didn't become a drastically better coach. I didn't get better. I just learned that, like, I can take those skills because I know how to coach new people and I know how to coach experienced people. And, like, I don't want to say it's not as hard as you think. Like, it's hard, but it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, if you're a good coach, you could do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just about, you just work a little harder. You know what I mean? To do both. And it was just, it was a weird realization for me because I was of the same. I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, like, new people in the class. That's no. It's like, wow, this can actually be done. And, like, I don't have to be a level 3 seminar staff member to do it.
I think that's a little bit of a trap, man. Like, it's, when you think about it, like, dig deep into what you just said. Like, you're basically saying that at first it's probably harder to have two different levels in your class. Why is it harder? Because do you think you're actually working harder? Is it harder to coach someone who's brand new than someone who's not brand new? You know, you could argue that it's the complete opposite. Right? So it's like, if you think that having someone brand new in your class with all these experienced athlete is making your job harder, then you are not a good coach right off the bat, because your life is probably already very hard with a group full of experienced athletes. Like, think about it. When you have a group of experienced athletes, okay, you're not worried about group management, or your presence and attitude is probably a little bit more natural, and all that, you know, those intangibles are probably already there because you know these people, and it's easier in that way. But then you're like, hey, this person has heard hips back first in the squat a million times. They've been a member for 5 years. How can I give them something different today that will make their experience and their hour even better? You know, that's the hard part of coaching. Not teaching someone to go below parallel in an air squat. That's easy. Hey, let's get lower. Right? Let's track the knees with the toes. Like, so it's like, when you have that different mindset, I think it helps with dealing with those situations. Like, the person in the back, if we're doing, like, I'll give you an example the other day. Like, we had a brand new person in class, or not brand new, she was here for maybe a couple weeks, but, you know, still getting the hang of it. And we did a complex, and the complex was complicated. right? It was the squat clean, the hand clean, the split jerk, right? And you just have to understand that each movement has a progression, and if you take it down to a simple progression, you go to that person, spend about 2 minutes with them, explain to them that they will not be doing the full complex today. They're going to focus on these things, and then you have them working on that, and then you look over to their left, and you have someone clean and jerking 225, and you have to dissect the length or the width of their split, and it's just different. It's different coaching.
I think I think the challenge isn't. It isn't like figuring out what to say or how to coach the individual. I think the challenge is within the class compartmentalizing your strategies and your mindset from 1 minute to the next. So it's like for a coach to look at a class and they all have experienced athletes or all beginner athletes, it's easier to start the class knowing that and to be like, okay, this is the type of class it's going to be. I can switch my mind and put it into this mindset and then just continue down that path. And I can sort of like carry that from one athlete to the next versus like to my left, I've got PT. I can give him this cue with this mindset, and then boom, over here now I've got to like get this person squatting to a target, and you know what I mean. So I think that is where it starts to get difficult for new coaches, is maybe that stresses them out a little bit.
Well, I think both you guys nailed on the head, is that it's really, and what I learned is like it's a mindset thing, because it's like that's exactly what I said. It's not that I became a better coach to do it. I didn't have to become a better coach to coach two people. Like you said, like I was already a good coach. I didn't have to become a better coach to do it. I had to change my mindset into thinking away from, I can't do this. This isn't going to work. You know what I mean? And then it was literally just realizing that it's like, wait a second. Like, I know how to coach this person who's new, and I know how to coach you. I can do both at the same time. I just have to like know that I can, and like also realize the big thing for me too was like, and I think a lot of people is like, they're so stuck in their way of thinking like, because we're doing handstand push-ups and back squats in class, it's not okay to have someone air squatting to a wall ball and doing like PVC push press like you might in a basics class, because it's a real class. But it's like, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Like, that's what scaling is.
But what you just said, though, you changing your attitude makes you a better coach.
Yeah, true.
Like for you, because a lot of coaching is figuring out how to organize your mind. Because writing down
by changing your point of view,
exactly, changing your point of view, etc. Like a lot of coaches, we could sit down and have them write on a sheet of paper what to say, but that like to any athlete. But then we go outside and they're starstruck and they won't actually verbalize what they put on the paper. And they're not a good coach because they can't actually make the change. Right? So you're a better coach. You're a better coach.
I think it's more the point I was trying to make is like what PT said is again, like if you can't actually do that, then you are a bad coach.
Right.
And me not having done it before and then being able to do it here, I didn't feel like I like drastically changed. I had the capacity before. I just didn't believe that I had the capacity.
You weren't using it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had the contractile potential.
Is that like a level one thing?
Yeah. You didn't have the
You didn't have the technique.
The contractile potential. That's interesting.
The productive application of coaching.
So what do you think's the second? So like that was kind of the first one that we talked about, and you said you had a second one.
The second one is I think like potentially the strategy that PT was talking about is like, that's a little bit better, is like trying to figure out how to integrate people right away into your classes. It could potentially increase your long-term membership. Maybe you don't have 10 people in a basics program or in an on-ramp program, so you can't see that number right away. But how many of those people join the regular classes after their on-ramp and get discouraged because the regular classes are nothing like the basics? Like how long does it take for those 10 to turn to 5 and for those 5 to turn to 2? Because I know
you're talking about like the drastic change between the intro program
style of class, right? I know a lot of people who, because we have a free class, an intro class that we call basics for people who don't know, and it's a slightly different class in the sense that we spend the first majority of the class with a PVC pipe. Like we will warm up often with PVC pipe in regular classes, but maybe we spend another 15 to 20 minutes working on just fundamentals with zero intensity. And some people start in that class and almost don't want to leave because they're nervous to get into the regular class, and it takes some coaxing. You're like, don't worry, you'll be fine. Like it's really not that different. There's maybe 10 minutes less of PVC, you know, but if that's an issue for people who come here and we only have a couple basics classes, like I can't imagine the mindset moving from a whole month's worth of on-ramp to jumping into a full CrossFit program.
Well, yeah, and that could answer a lot of retention questions that affiliate owners might have. Like, why am I not retaining all these people in my on-ramp? It's probably because it's like, I've heard it millions of times where it's like, oh, like that, I need more, like, on-ramp, I need to do it again, I need more personal training. It's like, no. Like, you know what I mean?
I'll tell you right now, like, the way we see our basics program and our basics class is pretty much to give someone a better idea of how a class is run. It's not so much the teaching of it. It's not so much like the actual workout. It's like
the flow.
The flow. If you join this gym, this is what a class can look like. We're gonna have a warm up. We'll work on a skill. Then we'll do a workout after. We'll cool down, grab some scores. That's what a class looks like. And then the programming of it is a little bit different because we were calling it a basics. But there's no chance, and this is kind of like where we disagree with the intro program, is like there's no chance that people leave the intro program and are moving perfectly anyways.
Exactly.
So what? Do you think like they're going to leave the intro program and then they go into your regular classes and they don't get coaching anymore?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, do you actually think that you taught someone to air squat perfectly in a month who's right off the couch? Like, no, it's not possible. Right? So it's like, it's not so much the actual teaching, it's just the flow of it, because we're still teaching and cueing and correcting people all hour long, whether you've been here for 5 years or you're brand new to it. So it's that's kind of like where another issue is.
Well, let's really quick just explain, because people listening who don't go here or never been here might not understand, what do we do here? What is, because like saying our basics, maybe they're a little confused. So like someone walks in off the street and it's like, hey, I want to try CrossFit. What's the conversation? Like what do we do?
So, well, what kind of CrossFit, do you have any CrossFit experience? If they say yes, I say, great. What class do you want to come to? Literally any class in the schedule. You say, okay, well, your first one's free. Come try it out.
Yeah. And if they say no?
If they say no, say, well, we've got 2 free trial classes a week. Starting in January, we'll have 2. One on the weekend, one on Tuesday nights. Come to those classes. It's a great free trial. Give you a sense of how the classes are run. If you can't make it to those classes, let us know. Just come to any other class. Like,
what if they show up at 3:50 with their gear? They're like, I want to try.
Jump in.
I often ask people that actually when they come in and have a conversation
Like,
about it. It's like, hey, I was wondering about CrossFit. What's this thing? And I'll ask them, you know, do you have your gear with you? Like, we have a class in 15 minutes, you know? So.
Well, I think the point I want to echo and like make clear is just like, we're not like, you have to go to the basics class.
No.
We might recommend them.
Yeah.
And like usually how I've been wording it is just like, hey, like, you know, you've never done it before. Sweet. Like, we have these awesome classes. We can come and learn it a bit more. It's a little bit slower pace, but like, don't feel like you can only come to that. Like, come to whatever class you can come to.
Yeah.
Disclaimer though. Like we're talking, I really wanted to make this podcast and talk about this because it's probably been one of the most discussed things among Pete, Reza, and myself.
Our basics
since day one, like our basics program and like how to get people through the door and how to get them into our classes. And we've gone through like several different styles or several different like time slots or you know,
the style. We always talk about changing the style, but we actually never end up doing it. We'll argue for like a week about it, and then we'll just be like, we're just going to keep it the same.
So one thing that's always been the same is that it's not mandatory. It's recommended, but it's not mandatory. So, and that's always been the case because it broke my heart thinking about turning someone down. Like, oh, we have these basics classes. They're at this time. Oh, I can't make any of those. Okay, well, you can't join my gym. You know,
like, bye.
And then that's when we're discussing. Okay, well, we put a basics class at basically every time slot in the week, and we had like 6 basics classes. Remember that?
Yeah, 6 a.m., 7.
Yeah, every single day, just so people could like actually pick a time slot. And then we're like, okay, that's a bit much.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a bit excessive. You know, some of the regular members maybe didn't like that as much. Like they wanted their regular
They
class.
started
Yeah.
started taking those days off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was 6 a.m., if you were consistent,
Sleeping
Yeah.
in.
the basics day they would not come in.
Yeah.
So we've
Like,
gone through several ways
Mhm.
of doing it, but one thing's for sure is that it's never like clear cut and set in stone.
Yeah.
Like you have to do this before joining. It's
Yeah.
just get people in there,
Yeah.
and it might be just as we got better at coaching and more comfortable with it.
Part of it for sure.
Yeah, we reduced the amount of basics because at first, like it is as a new coach, it's hard. You know,
nerve-wracking,
sometimes like
yeah.
it would sometimes grind my gears if someone just walked in and thought they could just come into the regular classes, you know, and that was at first, right? And you know, it's just because I wasn't comfortable probably in my coaching. Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too because like even another thing, just so to give more context to people listening, is that like a lot of our basics classes are equally, if not overly populated by just regular members.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I've been coaching Saturdays for like a month or a month and a half now. Like legitimately, there's probably 20 people at my 9 a.m. consistently on a Saturday. Maybe 2 of them are new people.
Yeah, like-
it's 18 people trying to not do the really hard work on Saturday. And then like most weeks, like last weekend, I literally just made them do worse. It was heavy Fran. I just made them do Fran.
Right.
Because I was like, you guys are trying to escape Fran. No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because to be realistic, like no gym, especially not in Ottawa, no gym is getting 5 new people a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so obviously we're not going to get a ton of new people in all our basics. And maybe that's why some of the affiliate owners are like, well, since there's only like 2 people every couple of weeks who are joining, maybe we'll have a specific program for them. Like maybe that's a way of like.
Yeah. Well, and I think if it's like you guys and you want something like a basics class, it's a good way to do it like this because then like, it's cool for the members too because they can come and get 20 minutes of PVC pipe instruction
Absolutely.
that they do get in class, but maybe not every time. Whereas basics is like pretty much every time I'm going to break the crap out of your air squat. You know what I mean? Even if you've been coming for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
fun to like tear people apart who think they move.
sure.
Yeah. I don't coach any basics, but I did when I think a couple weeks ago when I was it was me and Rez when you were gone.
Yeah,
Anyways, I coached
sure.
the basics and I was just like, this is sweet.
Yeah.
I did not have a single new person.
Yeah.
And we did the push jerk.
It's probably like,
And like you can imagine, like us running a push jerk breakout group at a level 1. It's
Yeah,
just
I
like
was gonna say,
we're
that's
spending
what it is.
25 minutes on hip extension and timing.
Yeah,
like let's go.
Exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
Exactly.
like it can be done. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people will benefit from that. Maybe they'll be a little annoyed or like,
Yeah.
well,
Well, that
been
was-
doing this forever. But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
always something to improve. And if you
Yeah.
go in with that mindset, then it's just you're all good.
just the side story is really funny because last Saturday or the Saturday before I told you this, I did Turkish get-ups because it was a kettlebell snatch. And so I was going to do that in the workout, but I would spend a little bit more time overhead. So I did Turkish get-ups as a skill and the members hated it because it was like an all-member class. They hated it. I spent 20 minutes with just your arm in the air, no weight, doing Turkish get-up step-throughs. Getting dirty looks the entire time.
20 minutes,
And
that's a
then
little
week-
excessive.
and then, but then a week later, this week, we had
Yeah.
Turkish get-ups for the
Yeah.
first time. And I had like 3 people come up to me like, oh, like, thanks for doing
Legit.
that. And I was like, I
Yeah.
didn't even know what was happening.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
it was just
so
funny. So anyway, my point is that like at least this structure, not saying it's the only structure, but this structure, like it's funny because it's not just the new people that benefit from having these basics classes. It's like members can also benefit.
Yeah.
100%.
And the structure, it would be, you'd have to test this structure in a brand new gym, right? Because obviously we're at a mature point in the gym where the majority of our members are, well versed in all the movements and all that stuff. So, and aren't brand new to the class structure. So
I think like honestly we always had the basics classes, but at first we moved to making it every day, and then it wasn't very long after that we got rid of almost all of them.
Yeah.
Now we're in January, we'll be down to 2. I have no doubt that at some point we'll be down to 1 on Saturday.
yeah, just a
Like,
free trial.
Yeah, and I think that with a new gym, if you're assuming that like the classes aren't going to be as packed right away,
Yeah.
I think if you just grow naturally and the class size grows slowly,
Yeah.
you almost never need
It's all,
it,
yeah.
you know?
I'm just trying to remember
Yeah.
of when we started, and it's like our coaching has evolved a lot, and the way we run a class has evolved a lot
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So it's like the way we run a class now is probably a little bit more conducive to brand new people as well.
Yeah.
You know, it was very rare that we would go through, like, let's say a muscle up transition, warm up.
Yeah.
If there's muscle ups in the workout, it'd be
That's
like,
right, yeah.
oh, we're doing muscle ups in the workout. And then you got someone brand new and you're like, oh, now I got to explain to them what a muscle up is. Now it's like the way we program the class is to make sure that, you know, I'm sure every time you write the outline, it's like, if someone's brand new in this class, can they go through from A to Z without a problem, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. It gives an opportunity. Like, I mean, when I write the outline, it's always clear that if there's an opportunity to kind of skim over something because you have a more advanced group, you can, or if you need to bring it down and really like dial in all the technique from like bare bones with PVC, then you can also do that. So because there were and that's up to the coach, right? And then it comes back to being a good coach and recognizing that yourself. Like, you need to, you know, I could write my outline could be 3 pages long. You know, if I took into consideration every potential option that the class could run. You know, but the reality is, like, 6 a.m. Looks totally different than 4:30 p.m. or whatever. You know, and if you have 5 people show up randomly one day, it's their first time doing CrossFit, your class outline
will look different.
It's going to look a little bit different. Right. You gotta work on a couple different things. And you still need to be able to get the experienced athletes to the end goal, which is going to be, you know, no matter what class they get through, they're going to have a solid workout.
I think there you're touching on 2 things. You're touching on being an effective coach and having almost like a lesson plan as well as your class outline that you can like kind of do on the fly. And you're also talking about just effective programming. You know, programming for an hour. Like, it's obvious that, and we'll see this all the time. We'll talk to people at other gyms or affiliate owners or people at the level 1, and it's, you know, they'll have way too many things in 1 hour, and it's a common thing, and it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but it's just like, if you're jam packing your hour, then you're sacrificing something, and that something is usually coaching. So obviously, if you have a brand new person in your class and some experienced athletes, and you have a jam packed class, then the coaching that could be, the time that could be spent on coaching that brand new athlete is gone. Right. So obviously that's harder. So, you know, it comes down to good coaching, good programming, good class management, all that stuff.
Why, you guys said you've thought about the basics since the beginning. Why do you guys have it? Why not just not have it?
I don't know. Maybe it's hard to let go of.
But I think some people enjoy it.
No,
you know?
It's true.
It's like some people don't want to just jump into a class. And that's totally fine.
Do they not want to jump into a class because they know they have an option? If they didn't have an option, would they not look at it the same, do you think?
Maybe. Yeah,
it's possible.
Maybe, but it's like the purpose of the basics is still good. It's still being able to show someone an easy transition into the gym. So that's why we have it, and it's like kind of our free trial at the same time.
You got to remember that, like, no matter who you are, if you walk into a CrossFit gym, like, we live in a CrossFit bubble, so we're immune to the fact that people sometimes could come from different walks of life into this gym. And the sight of a metal barbell is intimidating. Like,
for sure.
Not the fact that there's people with their shirts off, and the fact that, like,
people are on top of rings
lifting and dropping bars. Like, just the sight of a metal barbell, they're like, oh my God. You know? So, like PT said, the basics gives them an opportunity to follow through on a 60-minute class. Maybe with a little less intimidation, and then they're like, okay, it's not so bad, and then they can get into the regular class. Like, just to understand, so it almost like flow. Because if you, for some people, they jump into the regular class, and even no matter how good your coaching is, they're stressed out. They're stressed out about it because they're just like, oh my, like, there's so 15 other people in the class, and you're trying to do your best, and you can be the best coach in the world, and this person is just
seriously,
and this person is just stressed out. And
we'll have regular members stressed out during the 4 p.m.
My Saturday 4 people class,
and it's just, I think it comes down to giving the person the choice too. It's just like, you know, it's not necessarily like, because you're saying, your question is, what if they didn't have the choice? You know, what if there were no basics? Then they could just come in. And he's talking about the intimidation factor, which is real. And then we're talking about just giving them the choice. It's the same thing as adding more classes, right? Or having different time slots in the day. It's just giving people more of a choice, more for their membership, basically.
Yeah, well, and it could almost be seen as like not having a month-long structured intro program creates almost as much friction as having nothing, because if you have nothing, then someone might come in and have the same amount of friction in their mind of like, I don't want to just start like everyone else is. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it could dovetail to both. You kind of need something.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
So let's play a little devil's, well, I'll play a little devil's advocate here and ask you guys some like questions that I think maybe people listening are thinking who are running this like month-long intro. What if my coaches aren't good enough? What if I don't think my coaches are good enough to handle the brand new people together? Because like a lot of people will listen to this and be like, easy for you guys to say, you guys have level 3 seminar staff members, blah, 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 you know, me and Derek, but like, it's like not bad.
That's a really good question. It's train your coaches. Train your coaches to be able to do that. It's got to come from the top. Make them better. Definitely make them better. And it's like,
how do they
like
do
I
that?
said, before though, it's a different mind. You have to have a different mindset. You have to have a different outlook on it. If you thought that coaching a regular class is easy compared to coaching a brand new person, switch that around. Start telling yourself that it's harder to coach someone who's been
working harder in your regular
Start
classes.
working harder in your regular classes, so that when you have someone who's brand new with basic movements, it's simple. You know, it's like you have the triaging effect. You hit the biggest faults first, and you get them moving better in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Little improvements. So it's change your mindset a little bit.
Yeah,
there's definitely going to be some growing pains. It's just like what you said, like you coming from another gym, coming here, and being forced into that scenario. Like you had the tools, you just needed to execute and actually use them, right? So I think that's a lot. I think that's the case for a lot of people, and they just need, especially if they're passionate about coaching. You know, like if you give a shit and you truly care, like the coaching can be taught, you know, and so if let's say if you have the smallest amount of experience as a coach, you can take that experience and just grow with the scenario that you've been given, whether it's with the basics or the on-ramp program, or whether it's just like full integration. Like the first few classes you're going to be like a little bit stressed, but you just need to give a shit and grow with it. And you'll become a lot better with some guidance, you know, of the head coach or whoever it is that's training your people.
Well, what do you recommend for training your coaches then? How do you do that? What's that look like?
It's just professional development. It's just being there, watching their classes, making sure that they're, you know, that you're giving them feedback on their classes. It's also making sure that when you do hire them, they go through probably an extensive internship process where, you know, they've watched you coach, they understand your thought process in assessing different people in the class or how to manage a class. You know, it's all that stuff. It's continued education. It's sending them to do their level 2s, getting them to study for their level 3s. You know, it comes down to that.
Where do you guys see, because I think the next thing a coach would go, or an affiliate owner would go to, then their next defense would be like, okay, that's going to be a huge investment on my part of resources, my time, etc. Where's my value coming out of that? Like, what are they getting from that by putting in all that time and being able to eliminate their 4-week program? What do you guys see as?
Then, as an affiliate owner, you have to look at what your product is. Like, what are you actually selling? Are you selling that Rogue barbell? Are you selling the Rogue rig or the mats on the floor or the toilet? No, you're selling coaching. You know, so it's like if you're not ready to put resources, time, and money into your coaching, into your coaches, then you're lost.
Or like look at what the result of that is going to be. It's going to be better results for your members. Like you're going to retain more members if they're getting results.
You're free marketing.
They're getting good coaching. They're getting better results. You're getting free marketing, right? They're going to go tell their friends that, you know, they don't even have to tell their friends. They just show up at a party and they look better. Like, and their friends are like, oh shit, where do you go? Where do you work out? Like, oh, I go to this awesome gym. They've got sweet coaches. And I lost all this weight and now I can, you know, do X, Y, Z, which I never could do before.
Interesting.
I think that's like a super common theme also with like a lot of the great affiliate owners out there that, you know, I think we've realized that your brand and your services, the coaching and the marketing are your members, right? So, and we were talking about this the other day when we were like basically thinking about other things to do in the gym, and it's like a mindset that we have where every decision that we have is to make sure that our existing membership has a better experience. It's never let's go out there and throw signals out to the world and hope to get people into the gym. It's if we invest more time into the people that are already inside our gym, that will grow. So it's like, stop thinking about decisions, or stop trying to make decisions to get more people through the door, take care of the people there. And obviously that's nothing new. That's business. It's like, it's a lot of experts in marketing will tell you, take care of your clients and the rest will follow.
It's easier to retain than to get a new.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more expensive to go get a new member than it is to keep someone for life. And a lot of the coaching stuff that we're talking about, we relate to the things that we know, which are basically massive classes. Right, so a lot of these concerns for new coaches, like if I have a 30-person class and new people in the class, like that can get challenging, right? Like a lot of affiliate owners out there will have smaller classes, or they'll cap their classes, and that's an option. You know, like if you don't think that your coaches can handle 12 to 15 people, you either add classes, because capping your classes is probably not the best idea. You add classes, or you add a coach. You know, so it's and that's part of coaching development. It's like, I'm gonna give you the tools to do the best job possible. If you don't think you can handle this class, I'm gonna give you someone else as a secondary coach, or we're gonna start capping the class that you coach, or things like that, right?
For success.
Yeah, exactly.
And that goes back to like the whole, like, instead of buying a new barbell, put a second coach in the class kind of thing. Yeah. Right? That same mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like,
more into that.
I mean, capping your classes and having registration is a whole different conversation too. Like that probably falls into the barriers as well.
Yeah.
You know,
what's your thoughts on that? I mean, why not? We're on the topic.
We've never done it, and we never will do it.
Yeah.
Ever. Because again, we put ourselves in the shoes of people who join this gym, who pay $167 plus tax a month for a gym membership to come here, and then they have to ahead of time sign up for the class, potentially don't have a spot in the class, you know, or they'll go and they won't sign up for a class, and then, oh, we got out early today at work, oh, I can still make the 4 p.m. check online, class is full, I don't get to work out today, why the hell do I pay a membership? Right? Like, I think about that, and it just drives me nuts. I honestly cannot believe that affiliate owners will cap their classes, and I get the point of view of like quality of coaching, blah blah blah, equipment.
Or
if
like
your classes are if your classes are so big that you have to cap them, buy more equipment if the equipment's an issue. Invest in your gym. If your classes are so big that your coach is struggling, add a coach. If your classes are so big, add a class, or like, add a different, like,
or
do
if you're capped on classes in space, then find a bigger space.
Find a bigger space. Exactly. It's just like capping your class, I think, is a fundamental error as an affiliate owner, honestly.
On Saturdays, I remember this, is we used to, because we just refused to cap the class. At one point, we were doing 3-person teams, or even 4-person teams maybe, for every class. Yeah. Because literally everyone would show up.
Yeah, we can't have a single person Saturday workout right now. It's insane.
No, it's impossible.
Never.
And like, when you think about it too, is like, let's say you're an affiliate owner, you cap your class at 10 people. How many classes, like, you're essentially capping your membership when you do that. Yeah. You cap your class at 10-person, 12-person, you're capping your membership at what? Like 12 classes a day. Let's say you got
12 is a lot.
12 is a lot, right? But I'm just saying, in an ideal scenario, you'll go from like 6 to 6. Yeah. That's 12 classes. That's 10 people. You're only seeing 120 people that day. Max. Let's say that you see 50 people, 50% of your membership on a daily basis, which is very good, but I think standard in the CrossFit world because people like to come. You're capping your membership at 240. Yeah. Think about that. Yeah. Is that what you want? Yeah. Right? Or do you want to keep growing? Yeah. Right? And that's a mindset that we've had. It's like, if we want to grow and we want more people through the door and get have the best programming possible and have the best experience possible, it's like, we have to make this environment crazy and fun, right?
Yeah, no,
so it's not by limiting someone who wants to come to your gym.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's like, we'll look at the prices around everywhere. It's like all the prices are the same, and all we see is like barriers. It's like, hey, here's the price, but you have to do this intro program. You can't come when the class is full. We don't have open gym, but, right? It's like, here's the price, but. It shouldn't be but. It should be, here's the price, and.
Yeah. Come whenever
you get to come whenever you want. We don't cap our classes. We have a million barbells. We have open gym all day. And I get it. Like, all these things come with a bigger gym and you know, more maturity in the gym. But if you want to get there, where do you think you have to start?
Yeah.
Like, when we started this stuff, it's not like our classes weren't full.
And just
right?
And the gym was half the size.
You deal with it.
Sometimes
exactly.
Sometimes during the week, I remember, like, because again, we refused to cap the classes. During the week, we would switch the workout on the fly when the class showed up and there was too many people.
Yeah.
We'd just be like, all right, guys, we're doing a team workout. Or like we're completely skipping the skill and we're doing 2 giant heats. You know, partner one coach that count the reps.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good because a lot of people will be like, oh, well, then you're changing. They're not getting. It's like, no. It's not that they're like. People are still working out that way.
But if
you're not turning away half them, you're bringing half them in.
Yeah. And it's funny, like, you ask people, like, sometimes people will be like, I like that kind of sucks, and be like, well, do you want us to cap the classes?
Yeah, would you rather not be able to do it?
Polly remembers.
Like,
Polly remembers. Yeah, exactly.
They're like, no, actually, just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, that doesn't happen that often, right?
No.
Like, and
No, it doesn't.
and you know, it comes down again to planning the class and planning programming. It's you know, you always have that in mind in your class outlines and the way we flow the class and the way we situate everybody in the class. Like, hey, what if 30 people show up to this 4:30 or 4 o'clock? Excuse me. This is how it's gonna run, right? So, man, that fires me up.
Yeah,
those things.
Well, it's good because I mean, all of those things. Even though you said like it was a different chat, like I mean, it's still a barrier, right? And like
exactly it.
You want to talk about barriers?
Yeah,
like, that's a huge barrier, I think.
Yeah.
To that might not be a barrier to new people as much, but it's a barrier to your current people, which is almost like worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because affiliate owners will try and like break that barrier by doing different things, like having a 30-minute class or an express class, and like it's like you're basically saying that your classes are too complicated. You know, right. And it's like, here, come do this class. It's mindless.
Because we don't do CrossFit in this class.
Yeah.
And it's easier.
Yeah.
So you're going to like it better. It's basically what you're trying to sell.
Exactly.
Like,
and then that's
like, okay, what the hell? Like, why do you have an affiliation?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that hurts your marketing for CrossFit too, because then that puts out the phrase that like you have to be elite to do CrossFit.
Yeah, and they don't do it on purpose. They don't affiliate owners
they
don't do it on purpose. They do it to get people through the door, and I get it. But you got to see like what you're doing is you're feeding in to the exact stigma that we've been trying to get rid of, which is CrossFit is not for the elite. CrossFit is not. There are no barriers to starting CrossFit. Off the couch, come into the gym.
It's not only for the elite.
It's
for literally everybody.
Exactly.
What are then? I mean, I'm sure this isn't the first time you guys have had this conversation. What are some? Because I'm trying to think like the questions I was asking before. There's going to be a lot of people, affiliate owners, who are sitting and like easy for them to say. What are some of the counter arguments that you can then counter on? Like, what have you heard as counter arguments before?
Well, if you're sitting there and saying it's easy for them to say that, you're just giving yourself an excuse, so you suck. Don't think that way. Don't think that way. Because like, where do you think we were 4 years ago? Like, obviously our coaching evolved and our business evolved, but our passion for it and our mindsets were the same. You know, so it's like, don't think that way. Think like, if we did it, then you could do it too.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So like, don't give yourself an excuse. Like, you want a bigger gym, you want more people through your door. Take care of your people and stop giving them barriers.
So it's almost maybe like a check also your passion too, right? Because like maybe some of them step back and they're like, oh wait, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Did you get that? Like, some people step back and they're like, maybe I'm not passionate enough to do that. And they kind of rethink about why they have an affiliation and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, then they should give up their affiliation.
Totally. That's what I mean, though. Is that like something that you've seen happen though?
Well,
when people get pushed to that edge.
I don't know if I've seen it. I don't know. I couldn't give you like names or specific incidences of that happen, but I'm sure that I'm sure it happens
at some point.
But listen, if you are questioning your passion and you don't think you have like if you don't think you've got the work ethic
Yeah.
to do what it takes to integrate anyone in and try to grow your business like that, then why are you an affiliate?
Yeah, go for it.
Like, why are you coaching CrossFit?
Yeah,
You know,
well,
like-
and that's kind of one of the things I see is like a lot of the reason maybe why they're doing it is because they're taking like the easy way out. Maybe it seems like in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because it like from what we're saying and you're saying, it's like it's
they're
a
taking
lot
the easy way out by doing what?
by like having all these barriers because it's a lot harder to not have them and to train your coaches and to XYZ.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's where it's like, if you're right, some people just might not be willing to.
I think it's the minority. I think the minority of affiliate owners put, like PT said, like they put these things in place because they imagine that it's going to be conducive to growing the business for the, and they'll outline all these reasons. Like, we need the on-ramp program because it's less intimidating. We need to, we're going to have better quality classes because our coaches are junior and they can't handle these others coming in. So they justify the implementation of these strategies because they tell themselves that it'll increase their business. I think the minority of them put them in place because they say this is an easier way to do it. You know what I mean?
They don't do it intentionally.
So I think I'd like to think that most affiliate owners are hardworking enough to be like, I want to do the right thing. And and it's just that they think implementing those barriers are the right thing.
Right.
When really they should be taking them down because, when they just got to think back to the level one. Like, we teach everything in the level one, right? It's all there. You got to just read between the lines. Everything is scalable, infinitely scalable.
What I've heard of a lot of affiliate owners too, the reason why they have it is it's a good way to sell personal training as well.
Right.
Are you talking about the intro program?
Yeah, he was just saying, like, do you think that affiliate owners might put those barriers up because they want to take the easy route? Because they think it's less work to actually train your coaches, etc., and do a development program, And I said, I think it's probably the minority.
Yeah, or it's just they don't know.
Yeah, well,
that's what I mean. That's
exactly.
Like
they
just
don't
really
really think it's better.
Yeah,
they think they're passionate and they want to grow the business, but they think that is the right thing to do.
Yeah. And that's how the industry's been, kind of, right? Like, we're talking about it because it's very common, but I think it's moving away from that. Because when we started the gym, that was it. And you look at the websites of other affiliates as well. That's still kind of the process.
Do you think like the first 50 CrossFit affiliates though, but they probably didn't have one?
No.
They probably didn't have one.
Well, Glassman, man, he says like, "Hey, you want to start CrossFit? Show up to my house tomorrow morning."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and that's why it's like these.
That's what it should be.
This plan or this, I guess, developed program of intro program, or this trend in the industry is it's kind of awkward, right? It's weird. It doesn't really go in line with the methodology or the mentality behind CrossFit and how it started.
True.
But,
It's interesting.
It's coming full circle. Well, I mean, I hope it's coming full circle. I hope people will realize that.
Yeah.
That's the strategy they should take.
Yeah.
Show up tomorrow at whatever time,
There's obviously, here's the thing, like another disclaimer. It's like there's obviously successful gyms out there who do it that way.
Yeah.
Right. Very successful gym, but there's also a case of volume when you do have 100 people, asking to join your gym. A good way of limiting that and trying to, not overflow your gym in a matter of 2 months is creating these types of little barriers.
Yeah.
Like I've heard of some gyms having wait lists to get on into the gym because they're so busy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a barrier, but like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
like
at
one
they're
point
probably
you're
in a
so
position where
full.
Yeah. So I get that there are there's some reasoning behind those things. But as a brand new affiliate, I think that's shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Brand new being like less than 5 years old.
Yeah. Like if you're still under, I don't know, I'm not going to give a number of members, but if you're not full.
Yeah.
If you
think you can grow.
Yeah. Which everyone can. Like everyone can still grow. But yeah.
Cool.
That would be it.
Yeah.
That was good. It's a good chat.
That was awesome.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
I got a message the other day from an affiliate owner in I I want to say Halifax, 902 Athletics.
Yep.
It's where John Donovan goes whenever he
yeah,
goes
yeah,
out east.
yeah.
And he messaged me and he's like, his name's Joel. He's like, keep the podcast coming. So Joel, hopefully you enjoyed this one, man.
There you go. I'm actually making a video for him this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
He's
contracted me to do
No
their member, like basically like their in-house comp or whatever.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
He's a good dude.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just met him online too.
That's sick. Get
Good.
some practice doing that and then do ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same day, so I'm not shooting there, so I'm just editing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
they're running an in-house comp on the same day?
Yeah, on the 15th.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, this Saturday. So
Wow.
shout out to 902, I
Sick.
guess.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Nice.
Thanks,
Thanks for listening, guys.
See ya.
Ciao.